Hey, this is Michael Church, Crawl Space Ninja, and I am excited to bring you our Crawl Space Repair Challenge. This is week 1, and what we're going to cover today is inspecting your crawl space. I am putting together a series of videos. So far, I have 13 plus videos planned out for all of you that are looking to improve, correct, repair, waterproof, encapsulate your crawl space. A quick overview of what we're going to discuss today are some of the tools that you will need in order to inspect your crawl space and where to get those tools. So if you're planning on doing this yourself, we have a lot of these available on our DIY store, or we might have some Amazon links in the description below to help you find those tools quickly. So make sure you check out the links below. We are also going to give you access to a downloadable inspection sheet that we have developed that we're going to make available at Buy Me a Coffee. This is going to be a paid download of just $5, and this inspection sheet has some great questions that you should answer for our DIY specialist to help you out, as well as some things that you must look for and some readings and calculations that you should get inside the crawl space in order to make sure that you develop a great materials list and scope of work. Now let's talk about some of the tools you're going to need in order to do your inspection. We always recommend you get some of these great moisture meters. We have these available on our DIY store. These are to check humidity and wood moisture, as well as the foundation wall moisture. That's something that's overlooked quite a bit, is people don't check the foundation wall moisture, because that's a good indication if you are taking on standing water at some point in the future. And of course, always dress for safety. You want to wear a Tyvek suit unless you have a good pair of coveralls. You want to wear a respirator. We always recommend a full face respirator, as well as gloves, and you might need some waterproof boots if your crawl space is flooded, a good flashlight, and a painter's hoodie. That's a cloth hoodie that you can get to put over your head in order to protect you from getting cobwebs or different things like that, and then you would put the full respirator over that. Oh, one last thing I didn't put on this list is a camera, because we want you to take pictures of everything that you're inspecting in case the DIY specialist needs access to those pictures. So make sure you check out the links below for all that. Some other items you may want to do are a laser measurer. Now, one disadvantage of that laser pointer is that if there's obstacles in the way, it's a little difficult to properly measure the crawl space, especially if your crawl space is really short. So you may want to get one of those wheels that you walk around with. I'll put links to all of this in the description, as well as possibly a thermal imaging camera or a laser temperature reader. That's a good way to see some temperature changes in areas that would indicate moisture intrusion. So those might be a bit more of an investment for you, but if it helps you gather the correct information, you might want to think about getting those as well. While you're doing the inspection, make sure you pay attention to mold in the crawl space. Now look at the image on the top left. There's a metal strap up there that's rusted. That dark color all over the wood is signs of mold, but not all mold is as noticeable on the wood. Now take a look at picture number 2 where it's got the moisture meter up against the wood. Do you see the little dots under the insulation? That could also potentially be mold. Make sure that you're checking for falling insulation, high moisture in the wood. Obviously, you're going to need a meter for that. High moisture in the foundation walls, standing water around the crawl space, mud lines on the old vapor barrier. If you see mud lines, perhaps the crawl space had flooded in the past. Efflorescent on the foundation wall. If you've got block or concrete, you could have efflorescence pushing through the wall, even though it's not actively taking on water or you're not seeing standing water. Daylight at the sill plate and rim joist are also things that'll indicate inefficiencies of a crawl space. And then, of course, high humidity with that moisture meter. So these are some of the things that you're going to be looking for that are on the inspection sheet. Make sure you take pictures. These are good examples of the kind of pictures we like to see. We like panoramic, wide view pictures, but sometimes you need to get a little closer and give us a snapshot of that moisture meter or perhaps that falling insulation to help us understand exactly what needs to be done and how long a drying process may take in the future. Now, that moisture meter in that wood only goes to 53%. You can see there's green lights, yellow lights, and red lights. If it's above 53% wet, we have no way of knowing that. So we did a job that took us 6 weeks to dry the wood to where we could treat the mold because of how damp the wood was. But the meters are still a great way for us to figure all that out for you and to help you do your own crawl space. Once you have your inspection done and you've got the photos, I'd like for you to submit that information to our DIY specialist. This way, it gives us the ability to go over your inspection with you and help put together that materials list and eventually that scope of work. Let's recap how this process works. Once we get the inspection sheet and your photos, we're going to help you put together a scope of work for your crawl space, so that way your crawl space looks like this whenever you're all done with doing your own crawl space. We're also going to be coming out with some future videos to help you tackle the crawl space yourself if you decide to do this project yourself. And we may actually have to recommend that you get a local contractor to come out and take a look. If it's something that's real sketchy, like some foundation problems, you might want to have a local contractor or perhaps a structural engineer or someone to assist you and guide you in this. And we will certainly do our best to catch those things if possible. That's why you need to communicate with that DIY specialist and eventually set up a video interview with them to go over the recommended scope of work. Also, I hope this information was very helpful for you. I hope you'll like and comment down below what we can do to help you in the future. Thanks, and I hope you make it a happy and blessed day, and we'll see you later.